Hi, welcome back to the workshop for episode 19 of the GGBO 2022 build, and this time we're going to be continuing with the top carve. Okay, so we're progressing quite well with the top carve, but the next little conundrum that I need to work out is what I'm going to do with this area in here. I've not really done one of these before. I did the 335, but that's a slightly different setup. So I need to kind of figure out where I'm going with this. And the issue I've got is, at the moment, that's 50 mil deep. Okay, plus we need to put the back on, which is another 6 mil. So that's 56 mil, which is way too thick. So we need to do something about it. The other thing we need to establish is the break angle for the neck, which I'm working to be between 3 and 4 millimeters. So that means we've got to introduce something which I've heard referred to as the pickup plane. So it is the angle at which the neck's going to sit in and the pickups and the bridge and everything else are going to sit on. Now, I've done some calculations and I've kind of worked out that if we go down to this line here of 6 mil and we come back into the body about 180 mil to where I've put that little mark there, which is kind of roughly the position that the bridge is going to be in. That will give us around about a 4-degree angle, which is great because that's roughly what we want. Now, the problem we have with that is that I've done the calculations and I'm not brilliant with angles and stuff like that, so it could be a little bit out. However, I do have a little digital angle gauge. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to start taking this material out and start working it back, and I can check periodically that we are kind of in the right ballpark for where we need to be. Now, in terms of taking this material out, the quick way would be to do it with a router on a sled that's set at the angle that you want. The trouble is I'd have to make that sled, which is going to take time that I probably don't have. So I'm just going to fall back on tried and tested techniques and just carve it out with a Shinto rasp. Okay, let's get this set up somehow and see if we can get this material out. Okay, so I've had to come around the other side of the bench just to kind of get some room to work on this and also get some angles that I can successfully film from. So what I'm going to start doing is just taking some of this material out with the Shinto until I kind of get somewhere near. Obviously I'll be checking this as much as I can with a level box, and then when I think I'm somewhere close to where I need to be, I'll then break out a small hand plane and just kind of flatten and level that all off nicely. Okay, so there's that pickup plane kind of roughed in. It needs a little bit more work. It's going to need a bit of sanding, but I'm going to leave that for now because with that in place I can now get on and kind of start to sort out what I want to do with these horns. And basically it's just going to be a case of blending them in to where I've routed down to 6 millimeters and then just kind of making everything nice and smooth, make it look like it's always been there. So I'm going to go and have 10 minutes, a cup of coffee. I'm probably going to put another t-shirt on because I'm soaked and I'm filthy, but we can then get this set up in a more normal position on the bench and kind of get it finished off. Okay, so we're set up back on the other half of the bench and just going to start work on these horn areas now, and start with the top horn, and I'm literally just going to start carving into it with this gouge. Kind of get this down to this level and then work it all the way around the other side of it, and then we can start getting this down. I don't want this to be too pronounced. I don't want it to be, I mean, at the moment it's probably about 10 mil higher than there. Probably only wants to be a few mil, 3, 4, maybe 5 mil higher in the center of that. So there might be a little bit of kind of working down of this area to do, but the first step is just to kind of get this curve established through here. Okay, there's the top horn pretty much done. Might need just a little bit of kind of finish sanding on there. But other than that, I'm very, very happy with how that's come out. So just a case now of turn this round on the bench and see what we can do with the bottom horn. Okay, so there's the carve pretty much done. There's a few little bits of tidying up that I need to do, but you know, I'm happy to say that that's pretty much where it needs to be. And I'm really happy with it. I think it looks nice. So A couple of things left to do in this episode. Firstly, we need to do a recommendation, and this time I'm going to recommend a channel that I've been following for a little while and does some beautiful work, and I think it's a channel that's set for some pretty substantial growth in the next few months if there's any justice in the world. And the recommendation is for Dave over at Ewar Guitars. Does some beautiful work over there. So yeah, head over and have a look and see what he's up to, and I'm sure you'll be well impressed. Finally, the last thing. Someone suggested I did this, and I think it is actually a really good idea. I'm not sure how well it will show up, but I'm just going to put a bit of water onto this top. And hopefully, if that's not too bright in the camera, that will help the grain stand out a lot better, so you'll get an idea of how beautiful this top actually looks. So I'm going to call it quits on this episode, but I'll be back again tomorrow when we will be continuing by hollowing out the back of this top, which is the last stage really before it's ready to be glued onto the body. So as always, don't forget to like if you've liked, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.